So soon I get up part 2 of The Cancer of Literature. And today I'm going to be an editor for Twilight. A proper editor, because obviously hers didn't actually see what was wrong with this book. Otherwise it wouldn't have been published. Anyways, I'm going to talk about 4 things. I'm going to talk about her dialogue, her characterization, her vocabulary, and the plot, or lack of. I think there's something seriously wrong with her dialogue. And if you don't see it too, I'm sorry, then you need to read more books. Because her dialogue has no emotion. It's just question and answer. I really don't see any connection through this dialogue with any character at all. It's so emotionless, basically. So she can't write dialogue for shit. It's just really boring. And that was one of the things that I got really bored with when I was reading this book. I have an issue with Meyer's vocabulary. She uses big words. No, not really big words, just words that probably her audience would not know what it means. I actually went online to check if her readers actually understand these words, and they actually admitted that they had to go through the dictionary and read it. And the fact is, some of the words that she uses doesn't even fit into the sentence, which is, again, poor writing skills. If you don't know how to use a word, don't use it at all. Just use the first word that pops into your head. She also repeats words like chardon. Yeah, I think that word is used a lot in the book. I think everyone notices that too. She uses them out of complete context. I can't believe that her editors actually, if she even has a good editor, or she edits it herself, because this is horrible. She doesn't know how to use right words, and the only reason why she's using these she actually uses these kinds of words is because she wants to make herself look smart. She wants to make Bella look smart, but in fact she's doing the complete opposite. She's making them look really dumb. It's basically a girl that you know who's stupid, that's using big words, but is using the word a wrong word for whatever they're talking about, and it kind of makes you laugh. It's like Clueless, which she uses the wrong word, and she has no idea that she's doing it. And yeah, when you hear that, you know there's something wrong, and because of that, you shouldn't let that kind of stuff be published without being properly edited. Characterization, I think every Twilight hater realizes there's a lack of. There's just so much things to touch upon on this. There's no character developing. Edward and Bella stay consistent throughout the series to the very end. They learn nothing about anything, and they haven't gone through real hardships or anything like that to make them actually learn about their relationship or about each other. And they have no real personality. The only personality I see is that Bella complains freaking a lot. She's a big bitch, and that Edward is a freaking creep because he stalks her, and he's just creepy. And Bella is incredibly stupid and bitchy. That's the only personality I see with them, and no one acknowledges that either. The whole point of having a personality is that it has their flaws, and people acknowledges that. But if they don't see that kind of flaws with them, there's a problem there. then they really don't have a personality. If basically their personality seems flawless just because everyone likes them in the story. But in fact, it's incredibly annoying to have that kind of personality, I guess. But I don't know. I just don't see it as a personality. I just think that Mayer was trying too hard for people to like her characters that she didn't give them flaws at all. And you know what? That was her downfall, because now loads of people are beginning to hate her characters because they're so damn perfect. And what makes a character likable is they have a realistic personality, and the fact that people actually hate them makes it realistic. So if I would, like, for example, I love the book Catcher in the Rye, but I hate Holden. But it doesn't mean that I don't like the book. I love the book, I just hate the character. And that's what makes it realistic. Anyways, Mayer gives little explanation of Bella's history, little explanation of Edward's history, and if to make a saga they had to do a proper history than that. Just some vague thing about the Cullens. Like, there's something wrong where the secondary characters have a bigger history than your main characters. That's kind of sad. So, yeah, if I were an editor, I would say add more to your characters because they're a little shallow. Okay, another thing that I had a problem with was her plot, or lack of. I provided a chart that shows what a plot graph is. This is a standard plot graph, so it's easy to understand. And as you can see, the small line at the bottom, at the very bottom, is the introduction. It does basically an introduction of who the characters are, gives them names, and then right on that second dot before the slope starts crawling up, that's called the crisis. And there is no crisis in this story except at the very, very end when James comes into the picture. And then there's the rising actions. The rising actions lead up to the climax, but there's no climax to the story. The only thing that I would consider a climax is when Bella figures out that Edward is a vampire, but that, again, is not really a climax because it is expected of the book since it is labeled as a vampire novel. So it's not really a climax unless you're expecting it. And of course there's the following actions and then the conclusion, aka the denouement. If Mayer actually took this plot graph into consideration, it would have followed it. But this is basic. I learned this in grade 9, and she doesn't even follow it. So that's kind of sad. And that about wraps up the editor's point of view. And if a real editor actually reviewed Twilight and the rest of the books properly, they wouldn't have let these things slide.